Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
TalkWad Radio Network welcomes you to the SpiritPioneers.com channel, where you can find Momma J Speaks, also simulcasted on theartsradio.com channel as well. Hello, everyone, to another fabulous episode to Momma J Speaks here on the TalkWad Network, because this is where it's proudly brought to you by TalkWad Network. Also, make sure you please check other shows with the TalkWad Network at www.talkwad.com. I want to welcome everybody. I'm really excited. I've got two people today, two guests. So happy. Welcome, Laura Spencer.
Hello,
and
hello.
Ryan Log.
Hi.
Did I get that right?
You did.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's really interesting. I'm watching us video, right? And you guys are on the polar opposite than what you're actually showing on screen. So I'm
so we're like backwards.
yeah,
right?
so I'm really confused. But anyways, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Can you believe it? We're already at the end of January.
It's freaky. It's freaky. I can't deal with it.
Where has it gone? What have you guys been up to?
Well, this weekend for me was pretty interesting. I had an art opening at a bar called The Bends, downtown St. Pete. It's a really rad little spot, and the show was called Bone, a collective study, put together by this girl, Nicole Morris. She's fabulous, makes some of the best bone jewelry I've ever seen.
Really? I'll have
So,
to bring her on sometime.
Absolutely.
Pass
She's
my name
incredibly,
along.
incredibly talented. Of course, of course. So the art opening was on Friday, so that was a whole lot of fun. We went out and saw that. Saturday night, there were a couple other shows downtown St. Pete, and I try to go to
All of them.
as much as possible and support my friends and my colleagues and my peers as artists everywhere. So there was Star Signs at the Blue Lucy Gallery on the 600 block of Central Avenue. Fabulous show. If you get a chance, please go down and check it out. And then Sunday night, last night, we were at Janice Live for their Gulfster show. It was
You're
actually
a musician. He was there, right?
he
Yeah,
was
of course.
totally there.
Absolutely.
And some very
Awesome.
good friends of ours, Danfield, played, and it was fabulous. It was their 1-year anniversary, and they're just a phenomenal band. So it was great to see them on a big, giant stage and killing it, and it was
Good
great. So,
crowd. And
totally.
Ryan, man.
Yeah.
How
Hi.
you doing?
I'm awesome.
Welcome to Momma J Speaks. I was so excited. I got Laura, and then she's like, oh, here's my friend. He's a musician. I'm like, yay, 2 for 1.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. What did you do this weekend?
This weekend was actually pretty busy for me. I do, as you know, personally know that I'm the stage manager for the Black Honkies.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had a pretty
Fantastic.
vigorous schedule. We started off in Friday at Ozona at JC Cravers. That's always a good time. Those guys treat us really well. It's just a blast every time we go there. Saturday was the busiest of all. We had a doubleheader where we started the morning off at Quaker State at the Full Throttle biker rally.
Oh.
That was really exciting. There's a lot of other really great musicians and artists there that were representing the area. And then we followed over to the Ringside Cafe in downtown, close to downtown St. Pete.
Were you on a motorcycle?
No,
okay.
I don't do that. And then the most exciting part of the weekend for, I believe, all of us in the band was Sunday. Sunday afternoon, we had a gig at the Mahaffey Theater on the lawn with Vintage Trouble, and Vintage Trouble was just extraordinary. So
Wonderful.
pretty busy, but a very, very exciting
Very
weekend.
active.
Yes.
I'm going to have to start catching up with y'all. Well, everyone that watches my show and listens in, this evening we're going to dive a little bit deeper in with Laura Spencer, and she is a very awesome, amazing, tantalizing tremendous
Oh my goodness.
local artist that if you get a chance to check out her website, it's absolutely beautiful. It's
Yes, indeed.
www.lauraspencerillustrates.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And we got a chance to view some of her pieces of work. And throughout the show, we're going to share it with you and everything. I want to give a shout out to any and everybody that got my event invite and decided to say yes. Hello to you all. Thank you for tuning in. I do hope you will find my show interesting and entertaining, and most of all, inspiring on some particular level. So, at any rate, and all my other listeners and followers, you do know that at some point throughout the show, I give out affirmations or questions to get your mind going in new paradigms and directions. So, that will be occurring throughout the show, more than likely towards the end. And so, that's about it. Just wanted to fill you all in so you know what's going on. And I'll get started with y'all because I got some questions.
Oh goodness.
right.
I hope I have the answers.
So we'll start with you, Laura. Where are you originally from, and when did you begin your artistic journey? Like, when did you realize that God had instilled within you this gift?
Well, I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida, so here my whole life. I've moved very rarely around, just generally in the same area. And my aunt, Boo Ursum, is a local artist in the area. So when I was a very, very small child, I think I was probably 2 or 3, we were over at her house and she had a bunch of paintings out, and I looked at one of them and could recognize what was in the painting and kind of what was going on. And at that moment she stopped and was like, oh wow, this girl's got something here, a little bit more than just a traditional child. So almost immediately I began taking art lessons with her, private lessons through all of my childhood until I was about 14 years old. Then went to Pinellas County Center for the Arts program at Gibbs High School. So PCCA alumni. There's in fact a PCCA.
I went there too.
Yes, I love it.
I was in drama.
That's fabulous, though. Oh, one of my best friends is a musical theater major from that. I mean, we just kept so close knit. But
Yeah, I was at that school.
I love
What's
it.
up, girl?
Hey, they're having a PCCA alumni show at the Maureen Art Center actually coming up soon too.
Really?
So I'm very excited
Did
about
they still
that.
have the Thingy Awards?
The Marley Awards. Oh yeah, they totally still have the Marley Awards. I'm pretty sure.
It was called the Thingy Awards.
the Thingy Awards.
We'll talk after the show
All
as
right,
to what
we're gonna
that
have
really
to,
ended up
'cause-
being.
Oh man. No, but that was a formidable experience in my art education and everything, and becoming aware of being an artist. Ever since I was little, to answer your original question, I was going to be an artist. I used to say, Mom, I'm going to be a starving artist. And she's like, you could lose the starving part. That's fine. Just be an artist.
How about
it's
being
okay.
an abundant?
Abundant artist, which
Artist.
is where my energy flow is nowadays,
Right.
and everything like that.
Yeah, we need to change that paradigm. We go into this society because we're brought up that way.
Mhm.
Oh, if you're gonna
Yeah,
be
conditioning, definitely.
Yeah, it's we need to change the patterning
for sure.
of thinking that everything has to be. Oh, you have to starve and you
or
have
suffer for your
to.
art.
You have to, suffer. And instead, we all need to work on changing the paradigm and the patterning and make it more for abundance and prosperity, because we
Mhm.
all have that deep within us to have that. You know, just like we all are gifted and we all have our talents. It's just a matter of cueing into it and allowing the creative aspect, which is the God consciousness, come through us and work through
Omnipotent
us.
perception.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an energy. Did you
Absolutely.
know that this major energy that we are having is the Christ consciousness?
Oh, I know all
Oh,
about
for
that.
sure.
I know all about
Oh
that.
yeah.
We actually transferred over into a separate consciousness. That's why all the chaos is happening.
Yes.
And the ideals of not to dog anybody's religious beliefs or anything, but the idealisms of Christianity and such, and those very, very
Orthodox.
the word, yeah, type of
Orthodox.
beliefs are
Dogmatic.
they're not having any resilience to them anymore because of the neutrino fields that we're being influenced by is changed. It's
Yes.
completely changed, and
Yeah.
we're under a different thing, different happening.
And we're being soaked in this new energy.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And so everyone's thoughts, and it's all getting shuffled and static because we're all trying to get through it.
It's a
and-
very
and
exciting time to be
it
alive right now.
is.
It's very chaotic, and it's one of the worst times, but at the same time, the paradox
the
of the universe, it's
best
the greatest time
time
because
exactly.
For
we
change.
are all been given such a great gift to be able to move through the gates into the new existence, and that's just like
Exactly.
unbelievable. I know it's the worst. The worst, as you could say, the worst part is that we're waiting in line.
Yes. Oh my
So-
gosh, I have been feeling like I've been waiting
Right.
and waiting
Yeah.
and waiting this whole month. The stuff that I've been going through.
Goodness.
Or my whole family. My whole family has been really. How is y'all's family stuff going on? If anybody's having family chaos, just breathe and give it to God, the omnipresence. Well, everybody has a name for it, and it's all
Mhm.
paths
Mhm.
lead to the
Mhm.
same energy. So,
Indeed.
because a lot of my listeners are probably still of the old consciousness and old paradigm, I try to relate to everybody, no matter what possible background they might
For
emanate
sure.
from.
It's all valid
and
and
stuff.
purpose.
So, but how about for yourself? When did you realize that you had this gift and talent of music? Like, what inspired
For me,
you?
I was born in Clearwater, Meese. I've lived here my whole life. I've lived all over Pinellas County. I spent time in Palm Harbor, the majority of time in Palm Harbor, and that's when the gift really showed itself. My stepfather actually in 1996. I remember it was Christmas. Santa, in other words, my stepfather at the time. He
You just busted all.
he
the
told my
little
mom.
kids.
I know. Those poor listeners are gonna
Oh
be like,
yeah,
what?
the kids. Well, he told my mother, Ryan's gonna be a drummer. I know it. I feel it, and it was just this truth that resonated through him. And he bought me a drum kit. I started playing drums for about a year, and then I got fed up with the tedium of the diligence of practice, and I
Oh,
threw it to the
practice.
side.
Yeah,
And
gets us every time.
then I
Yeah.
picked up guitar, and it just like inherited. It was just from that moment on, I've been playing different instruments. I moved on to guitar, and then again the same thing happened. And then I moved on to bass, and yet again the same thing happened. It well,
A little bit,
Just-
maybe.
just-
I don't judge, but
when you're younger,
you
your
gotta
tolerance
sample
levels,
everything a
your
little,
to- yeah.
you know
your
what I mean?
tolerance levels, at least for me in my experience, were a little bit less.
Right.
You know, I
I
couldn't
totally get it.
I couldn't tolerate
Mhm.
that at that age. I understood what all these musicians were doing, and I wanted to be there. Yet I also understood that I had to practice, but I was like, no, because in my mind I can already do it. What the heck's going on? You know.
Oh, that's
So
brilliant.
yeah.
I
that
feel like
you
that's-
already had it within
Mhm.
yourselves. That
Mm-hmm.
forget this practice. I know.
Yeah.
I know what I know already.
100%.
And that is an amazing, brilliant thing, because so many of us in society, we allow people to say, you don't know, you haven't practiced enough, you can't possibly,
Oh, yeah,
you
the
haven't
outside
done this
influence.
enough.
Mhm.
But for you two individuals, and for other people like yourselves
Mhm.
that had so much, you just knew that your energy was right, and you did not allow anybody to stifle it or to hold you back
Absolutely
at
Right.
all.
not.
And that
whatsoever.
is
Mhm.
tremendous, and just a gift in itself,
Mhm.
because I'm like myself. I kind of let certain things fall away that I shoulda, coulda, woulda,
Mhm.
But ultimately, my Momma K, y'all have met Momma K.
Love me some
she's-
Mama K.
Yes, hi Momma K. She helped me to realize when this opportunity of having my own radio show and everything came about. She's like, Jacqueline, yes, that's my name. This is something you've always wanted to do. You talked about this when you were a kid and everything. I'm like, oh yeah. But I was planning on having a PhD and all that other
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
prior, but I'm just allowing this all to flow, and I'm really excited to meet artists and musicians, because myself being a literary artist, a poet, unfortunately, I've been a chicken to get published, which I'm working on that.
Get there, and if
Um,
you need an illustrator,
Yes.
you know where to find
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. So, no, I'm really proud of you both and really happy for you both that you have known within yourselves what was meant for you to do.
I personally had the most defining
took
moment.
charge.
The most defining moment that I knew this is what I needed to do, was I started violin and cello, in middle school, and I met a really, really close friend, Chris Weber, unbelievable music soulmates, 100%. He told me, he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do this band thing, and I need a drummer." I'm like, "Well, I used to play drums, and I owe a lot. I don't know if I've ever really like told him, but how
Well,
much
you can tell
love
him
I have.
now.
Yeah,
Tell
if
him
he's
right
listening,
now.
yeah, how much love I have for him, because he was the one that said to me, "Hey, bring out your drums and like let's start this." And then ever since, I've just been a drums, 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 drums. That's like it for me. My life has become music and drums, and that's
Nice.
it was 12 years old.
this.
It was 12 years old when that really the defining moment happened for me. So,
Very cool. Chris Weber.
yes, that's
Now
that's
you
him.
have to be listening and watching
Yeah.
the show.
Right.
He just made a proclamation. Hello. Well, wonderful. Okay, let's see what else. Have you had a spiritual awakening throughout your artistic journey?
Absolutely. For me, that's part of it's contingent on one another. My mother is, my parents raised me in a very liberal household where we were, all religion and all spirituality was open. And so I was free to explore and experiment. And, a major part of it too was my mom is an avid tarot reader. She's been reading tarot for probably 40 years or so. And so when I was a very young child, I remember running around the house while she's studying cards and working through color allegories and coloring books, tarot card coloring books of Rider-Waite decks and stuff like that. And that was such an impression on me. The notion that you can have this infinite story in a deck of 75,
Four?
70. No,
Is
it's
it?
22 major arcana and 50. Oh, she's going to be so mad at me that I can't think of it.
Let's-
But it's 78.
76?
78. I think it's
Okay.
78. Let's go with
76, 78. And watch it
It's
be
all relative.
77.
I know, right? And I'm like, so she taught me how to read as at a young age, and kept my clairvoyance up, and really was interested in both of us, in harnessing and propagating my spiritual contact and all of those types of things. So that was a huge influence, especially as an illustrator. And like I said with tarot, having this infinite story that changes every time, and it changes because of other individuals' energies that they put and provide. And whether you believe it wholeheartedly or take it with a grain of salt, I understand skepticism is completely necessary. I've always found there to be such overwhelming meaning and connectivity and symbolism. It's just unescapable and unshakable for me. So that was a major part of my spiritual growth in art.
Oh, speaking of symbolism and everything, if Adam can put some of those pieces that we had found up and just display it for us so everyone can see some of her pieces. That's on her beginning website,
Mm-hmm.
lauraspencerillustrates.com. It's just beautiful. Oh, I'm really impressed by all of her stuff. It's amazing. Her creativity, her imagination, and yet the consciousness of where she's at with her artwork. Clearly, it demonstrates that she's being downloaded with some good
Yeah, the
spiritual.
depth of her being, absolutely.
Yeah,
You
most
guys
definitely.
keep talking. These headphones aren't gonna fit this head anymore. I'm just saying.
I like the humanity.
Oh, those are all one world currency pieces, and they were part of my
Yes.
senior thesis at Ringling. I graduated from Ringling in 2011, so just a couple years ago. as an illustrator, and my whole concentration was to deal with the concept of idol worship and how we deal with idolatry in our everyday lives, and the things that we choose to represent and the things that we choose to worship. So I decided to make my own one world currency, which is what you guys are looking at right now. It's all digital based work. And I wanted to go with it from a sense of like altruism. If we could all get along, if one world currency would be possible without capitalistic oppression or whatever. So it was in sovereignty we trust, in humanity we trust, backed by the People's Confederacy. So for me, it was, the representation on the bills was not an individual, was not a person.
Right.
It is the universe and space, because from the beginning of time, human beings, we have, if nothing else, to reflect upwards. And whatever you see in that, whatever you interpret that, God, for lack of a better term, in a way, I think it all comes back and forth to that. So that was the one world currency. And a couple other pieces that have really been popular recently are my patron saint candles.
Yes, if he can put that up there, that these are so cool.
Oh, thank you. They're a little bit cynical, I must say.
All
But
right, people, she's cynical, but hey, we won't use that against her at all, because she's very gifted and in touch with a higher level of reality, for sure. So the Lady Gaga.
Yeah, these were all based on the idea and concept of a traditional patron saint candle, which represents some sort of Christian or Catholic saint, typically, including a prayer on the back, lit in reverence, a 7-day candle to burn for a week in reverence and praise to this certain deity or entity. And I always found it absurd, a lot of popular music these days, because I feel like it's sometimes void or vapid of any sort of real connectivity. It's 4 on the floor, and there's no intellectual continuity. So
exactly,
with the candles, it was like Justin Bieber has a gaggle of fans in the front of him, and one of them has "What Would Bieber Do" carved in her hand, and he was found on YouTube, so that's his symbol on the candle and everything, and on the backs of them, I wanted to include some sort of prayer-like statement. So I went through, I did tons and tons of research. I'm the type of artist that I just research everything to the point of insanity. I need to know everything about what I'm about to draw or create. That way I can really make it with a lot of...
You are the artist I always wanted to be.
I've just been doing this so long, so I don't know. But
I want to grow up and copy like you.
Oh my god. But so the backs of the candles are actually the most religious songs I could find from each one of the artists, and I quoted them just like a Bible verse. So for Kanye West, I can't remember what song it was. I think it was the song Jesus Walks. And the bottom of it has, line 10, track 4, line 10 or whatever is when the lyrics start. Yeah. So it's quoted. So it's just constantly
like the Bible, because I did look at
it. Exactly. And that's the whole thing is poking fun and jabbing at why do we worship this boy girl that was found on YouTube, which is a glorified, mall talent show, basically. And now he's famous and making millions of billions of dollars, when I personally know musicians that are pouring their heart and souls and lives into their craft.
Like
exactly.
True spiritual.
And finesse and talent and technicality. So this was a big kind of to the whole thing. And of course, the beauty of it is the people that buy the candles are like, oh my god, I love Lady Gaga. And you're like, you're exactly who I'm making fun of. But enjoy it and embrace it. And I hope you do like it. And I hope you burn it. And I hope that it somehow gives her more power or energy. I don't know. So
you're definitely the intellectual, abundant, prosperous artist. For sure.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
Yeah. And then for you, Ryan.
Me.
Yeah, you're the musician with the background. And I can tell you're highly intellectual yourself and spiritually connected.
I wouldn't be hanging out with him otherwise.
I know, right? It's so hard to find these type of men that are spiritually aware and connected. Like, I know men that are in their 40s and they don't get it. They're still on that old school paradigm.
That's why I have cougars running after me all the time. I have to beat them off with a stick. It's awful. But
It's true.
It's
I'm
all in
like 2
fun.
years older than him too, so it's like
Look at that. Yeah.
I'm a puma in training.
Rob the cradle.
That's-
For me,
yeah.
spiritual awakenings have definitely happened in my career and my journey. Your entire life is full of those. Whether people realize the initiations or not, they're being initiated all the time. The majority of people that have these kinds of chaoses in their life, I think they haven't been educated on the understanding that they're just going through initiation. There's a certain
Mhm.
neutrino field that is affecting their being specifically from wherever piece of consciousness in the universe that they're directly connected to. For me personally, what it comes down to is the more I grow spiritually, holistically, everything, the more I grow as a being, the more my talents arise out of me. I don't think that an artist can truly become an inspiration if they don't have some sort of connection to their source.
And they're inspired within.
Right. For instance, my favorite artist of all time, Michael Jackson. He lived though a lot of controversy on that name, he lived an abundance of love.
Mhm.
And through that,
And misunderstandings.
well, the misunderstandings of it is because love is a huge responsibility because it's such a power that
Mhm.
people abuse because
Absolutely.
and they get hurt because they don't understand
Mhm.
the true responsibility behind it.
Right.
But he became such an amazing inspiration to the world because of that love that
Mhm.
he understood. You can hear it in his lyrics too, but um, that's pretty much it.
That's
That's
it.
it.
It's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. I'm sticking to it. So, what is it that you both ultimately, in your own divineness of your own paths that you're both on, you visually an artist, you auditorily an artist. What is it that you really want to instill and put a mark on the world with about? What is your ultimate goals that you want to obtain throughout your journey?
Uh,
You want to go first, or
sure, I can go.
okay?
Ladies.
There you go.
See, he's so polite. Chivalry is not dead. I
It's
swear.
it's a beautiful thing. More men need to suck it up and just enjoy how amazing it is to be like that.
Yes.
It's such a
Aw.
treat. Look at her. See?
She's
See?
blushing.
See?
my
How
face
could you
is
not
so
love that? How
pink.
could
Oh,
you not
jeez.
want?
Oh,
How could you
jeez.
not want to be like this? Like, and you get to see that.
Oh my god.
But anyhow,
Anyway.
back to the question.
Focus.
What was the
focus.
question? What was the question? No, for me, what I really want to provide and give the world through my art, is to educate in one way or another, positive, negative. And especially as an illustrator, because I view myself not in the necessarily the kind of closed market of the fine art, high art world. I'm lowbrow. I'm lowbrow through and through. I make art for the masses. I want to make art for everyone. I want my work to be understood cross languages,
Mhm.
everything like that. And as I said before, I do so much research and educating myself before I can really make the piece or feel legitimate in making the piece. That I just want my viewers and my receptors to see that and grow from it. I just want spiritual growth, educational growth, material growth, whatever, to come through from my work. You know, art for art's sake's not necessarily something I'm interested in. I need meaning. I need to convey meaning, and I need my audience to see that. I make something and hold it there and say, this is precious. This is something that you can learn from. It's something I learned from. And for me, that's really what it's all about, is to I'm just a conduit and a vehicle for a message for everyone to understand and become better and hopefully reach a higher level of consciousness or enlightenment. So
Beautiful. This inspires me too. To get back into my poeticness.
Mhm.
And for yourself, Ryan.
I don't really have a destined goal or want out of my music. And if I give any inspiration, it would be an omnipotent one. I don't want anybody to confine what I bring to the table, because the moment you can find one thing, that's it. That's it. I'd rather
Limitations.
Yeah, I'd rather
Mhm.
have people be able to sit down and use the voice of conversation and go, "Hey, he does this for me," or "Hey, he does that for me," and then that gives whatever it does to anyone. Um, I've been a muse for a lot of people in my life, and I've always noticed that the best way to do that is to not have a destined goal on what kind of inspiration you're giving to another, because that ultimately ends up to be their choice and their observation.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
it's always your viewers'
Mhm.
perception and interpretation of the work. I mean,
Yep.
if to your exact point, I have no control over how people view the patron saint candles. They
Mhm.
may get my little joke, they may not, but that's not the point. The point is that I've made something that will change their perception and perspective of reality, whether that's a positive, whether that's a negative.
Right.
And I think you do the same thing with your music.
Mhm.
I mean, when you play, that's exactly what I think, in a much more abstract way than I can attain,
Mhm.
is what you do through
Mhm.
music, which
It's a bit of channeling for me.
Mhm.
Right. That's
I
like how my poetry
I
has
I
always been.
when I'm playing, I'm meditating.
Right.
Yep.
I like
Oh,
to live my
yes.
life open in meditation and open meditation, but primarily, my brain and my thoughts shut off. And I tell every musician, if you want to have music come
That's
out,
so
man,
rocks.
that's like that's like that's what you have to do, because it's music. Music in the end becomes a feeling, an expression of a feeling, a story of a feeling of a certain moment, and
Mhm.
you can't recreate it by thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah,
You got to just
absolutely.
do and be.
Yeah, because when we all create a symphony
Mm-hmm.
just with our oneness that we tap
Harmonium, yeah.
into.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I've been writing, when I was really at my gusto of writing a lot of poetry,
Love that word, by the way.
thank
More
you.
gusto. More gusto.
Um, I I just realized a couple years ago, because I've been on a spiritual path
Mhm.
since I was about 14 years old,
Mhm.
and then consistently initiation, initiation,
Mhm.
initiation. But started to realize that I've been channeling for many, many, many years, and my poetry. People are like, "Oh, just memorize your poetry." I'm like,
Not how it happens.
I can't do that. It
Hmm.
just flows out of me. But
Mhm.
here, you can read it, and whatever you get from it, that's for your interpretation.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
do not put any type of, well, it has to be this way and it has to be that way. Because remember, in English classes, they'd give you a poem and you'd have to interpret
Some sort
it.
of structural
Right.
from a sterile point of view or
Right.
something.
And
I
I
always broke the
remember getting
rules.
so frustrated with my English teacher because
Yeah.
I would give him this brilliant interpretation of it, and I was like really into it and feeling very, powerful about it. And he'd go and say, "No." I'm like, "What?" And I'd look at him and I'd kind of start arguing with it. How
For
can
sure.
you not think it's this? Why does it have to be that?
Well, and why
You
do you
know?
have to why do you have to
Confine it.
confine my perception
Right.
of it?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's the mark of the difference between a good teacher and a great teacher.
Right.
Whether
Mm.
spiritual or not, somebody that never puts the blinders on you.
The
keeps you
boundaries and the
as open as
limitations.
possible.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm really moving into is allowing. Is it allowing? Yeah, I guess it is allowing, because I'm finally going to live into what I'm meant to do, and really go out there to create an opportunity for our students, for our children to have an outlet and use my genres of poetry
Mhm.
and whatnot, but give them something to conjure up their interpretation or their inspiration from just that, and even create artwork
For sure.
and
Mhm.
everything, and then create a way that I can really start a scholarship fund for these
Oh, how beautiful.
childrens that are going to be
Mhm.
picked for a contest, because I'm going to make it a contest
Mhm.
that is in like charter schools, private schools, diversion programs, because I feel that the arts are being taken away with our education system,
Oh,
the
Oh,
way
absolutely.
that
Don't get me
it's
started
going
on that.
Absolutely.
and everything. So I think between people like, oh, we got
have
a
a
We got
call.
a phone call. Check that out. Okay.
When does this happen?
Now.
Okay. Hello.
Hello,
Hi. Who are we speaking with?
my name is Sarah, and I don't even know what you all are discussing on the radio. I was just calling to find out what the call letters are for. I've seen an advertisement for a talk show on Sunday, and I was just calling to see what dial it was on the radio. So I don't know what you all are talking about, but I don't mind hearing what you're talking about.
Well,
Well,
that's good.
welcome, Sarah.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. You've called into the Momma J Speaks show, and basically, I'm a hostess with the mostest. No,
It's true. It's very true.
I am a host that ends up bringing in guests, and we talk about spirituality, we talk about the arts, we talk about music, we talk about the faux pas of life, anything that people have concerns with or journeys that they've been on to a spiritual awakening, because I'm about really helping people become awakened and enlightened in whatever capacity that means for them. And I bring
Wow.
these beautiful guests onto my show that represent different elements of life and the creative, artistic aspects that we all have within ourselves. But because of society or because of culture, we make that disappear, or we don't acknowledge that. So that's what my show is primarily about.
Well, I don't believe that there's any such thing as accident, so it's not an accident that I happen to be looking for something else and find myself in the midst of this. So
There you
all
go.
of what you said that you talk about resonates very highly with me. It is my path at this time as well. So I think I'm in the right place.
Beautiful.
Synchronicity.
Listen.
It's been the
You
word of
always
the
are.
day.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yay. Here's a air
If I
10
wanted
for you.
to-
Woo.
If I wanted to listen on the radio, what dial? Where is it on the radio dial?
Well, this is actually an internet radio show. And
Oh, okay. So I would have to go online.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And then what you do is you go to mommajspeaks.com or go to the talkwad.com link and
Okay, so was that Mama, M-A-M-A,
no, it's MOMMA J.
M-O-M-M-A? Okay.
Yeah,
J. J like in John.
Yeah, speaks.com.
Okay. What was that last thing? B?
.com as in
Speaks.
Speak.
S-P-E-A-K.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I got it. Yep.
Speak.com.
Yes.
Okay, and the name of your show is called what, and what time are you on?
This is the
on-
Momma J Speaks show. I gave you a direct
Okay.
link to the show,
Oh, okay.
and it's
Okay.
on Mondays from 5 until 6 p.m.
Monday from 5 to 6. So you'll be on for another 20 minutes.
Mhm,
I
sure
will be. Would
Mhm.
you like to join us in the
Okay.
conversation? Tell us about yourself, Sarah.
Well, I moved to Florida. Are you in Florida?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you
Are.
in Tampa?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
This is local in Tampa?
Yeah, Clearwater.
Yeah,
Yep.
Clearwater.
Clearwater. Oh, so we can even get together sometime.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
so
Absolutely.
I moved from Denver, Colorado about 13 years, and I live in Brandon, Florida. And I moved here with Citibank, but I was job discontinued from Citibank, and since then I've been doing many other things. But among most of them, as far as my studies, I've been studying with Deepak Chopra.
Oh, he's one of my
Yes.
favorites.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yep, you're in the right
I've
place.
actually-
You're exactly
No,
in
go
the right
ahead.
spot.
Huh?
Go on, ma'am.
Okay, so I study a lot of different things. You know, I if you mention it, I probably have looked into it. I do Rasha. I do Sonia Barrett, Wayne Dyer, love Louise Hay. I apply a lot of her Heal Your Body. Like I said, if you name it, I've gotten into crystal work. I believe in spiritual guides.
I've got one
just
for you.
all of it, but no one thing. I'm not in a box. I haven't boxed myself off to only being open to that one thing. I'm open to whatever the universe sends in my direction, like this.
Yeah. See, that's how I roll in my life. That's how my guests roll in their lives. We're not into being boxed in. Frankly, have we ever been in a box?
Well, we're kind of in a box now, but
Yeah,
that's just a physical perception of reality. That's neither here nor there.
But if you've been in your own personal life, like each individual that I end up being attracted to that comes onto my show and everything, there's always been, their reality has been that they've always been outside the box and a little bit different from the quote unquote norm of their everyday society that they, exist in. And so I just want to be able to bring people together, know that we are all connected, find that connection with people, and really start initiating the creative unity that is within all of us. So,
Right.
have you read any Doreen Virtue or Greg Braden or
Greg Braden? Them both. Doreen and Greg I've come across because I've attended a couple of the Louise Hay conventions that she held down at the Tampa Center, and also the first one over in Orlando, like 2007, and then 2011 she did one downtown convention center, Tampa. So she presents an array of artists or speakers like Doreen Virtue and Greg Braden and many others at this 3-day weekend type thing. And that's how I really got in touch with Greg Braden and Doreen Virtue.
Well, that was it. One of Louise's Hayes You Can Do It event, or was it a light workers convention?
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. That's on my bucket list.
Right? Yes.
I recently went to the light workers convention down in West Palm over the summer and I met up with Michael Murdad. Are you familiar with him at all?
No, the name doesn't sound familiar.
Oh, he's amazing. He actually wrote this book. It's called You're Not Going Crazy, You're Just Waking Up. And it's this nice, easy to read book, but it's so defining, and it helps people understand that all the crazy, chaotic stuff that's occurring in their lives, he breaks it down and it truly explains in great detail exactly what's going on with you and why it's happening and what it's connected to. And so I invite you to definitely look him up sometime. He's out in Arizona in the Sedona area. And so I got to contact him and ask him, hey, man, call in on my show sometime. Let's talk.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds like that would be a good idea. When did you do that down in Palm Beach?
That was in West Palm Beach in Florida.
West Palm Beach when?
It was over the past summer, and also Theo.
Okay.
Theo is this Sheila and Margaret Gillette. Sheila is a woman that channels the 12 consortiums of guardian angels. And that is amazing. I got to be in on one of her sessions, workshops, because it was a whole weekend type of deal. And that was a very powerful experience. You can find her on Theo Talks. I think it's theotalks.com. And she has amazing insight and information. I want to be like her when I grow up too.
Right.
But
and when you talk about people that I haven't heard of that are doing amazing work, that makes me feel good, because I believe that this is the time of the critical mass where the information is going to be flooded out there, and it has to be like that in order for people to pick up on it. And even then, so many people are not ready for it, but those who are, it's a great opportunity for them to get it. I mean, from so many different areas, because if we only depended on one, then or two or a few, then it would take much longer. So the critical mass is there because I've studied many, and then you're telling me several that I have not heard of who seem to be doing really good work.
Yeah, you can check out Healing with the Masters with Jennifer McLean. There's also the Nibiruian Council with Jalila Star, and they talk about all the Healing with the Masters has a whole conglomeration of speakers and presenters and authors and all kinds of people on her show that she does. She's got a membership website. A couple of them are membership websites, but the information is absolutely incredible. They're my teachers as well. You know, Jalila Star, she does Nibiru. She's a direct channel with the Nibiruian Council, which some people are aware of that realm. Are you aware of that realm?
I'm from the Pleiades.
Yeah.
So
that's
how I feel.
We're all connected on so many levels from so many dimensions and stuff.
Right.
So there's other good books that I usually that's another thing I do on my shows. I will whatever book that I'm reading, I usually end up sharing books and recommendations of different books for people. Music, if I have a particular artist that has done a beautiful CD that can resonate with the spirit and the awakening of the soul and whatever, I present them and usually try to get them on as guests. But like Laura Spencer here, she's an amazing, spiritually connected, intelligent artist that has done some prolific type artistry, and I just love her consciousness. And then Ryan, her compadre, he is such also a brilliant, highly intellectually and very spiritually connected young guy who I would say you're totally under 30.
Yeah, I am.
So this is really exciting, and I'm really happy that you decided to call in. This is exciting.
Oh, so much. Thank you so much for calling in. Today's word has been synchronicity, I'm pretty
you're
sure.
Welcome.
So.
Like I said, it just happened. I didn't even know that I was going to be in the middle of a call or a radio broadcast. So
where did you find
I was
this
just
number?
calling to find out because I was reading about something else, and I said, okay, there's a radio number. So let me see if I can find out if it's on the station, but it's online, so now I understand.
Right, yeah. If you go to www.talkwad.com, that will give you a whole array of all the different shows that is actually associated with this network. And you will also find other shows that are similar, a little bit different. I'm for the average bear, I guess you could say, you know, but there are some other shows that are or more advanced, or I guess for wherever people are on their path, you know.
Right, right.
I take everybody.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so you said Talk Wad?
Yeah, it's TALKWAD.com, and then you put the 3 W's in front of it.
Right, okay. You know what I'm most interested in nowadays that I haven't really found? I keep catching people talking about it, touching on it, but never really going in depth with it to let me kind of see more about what it's about. And it's what you just mentioned briefly, dimensions. And I'm thinking that I understand that we are existing on many dimensions simultaneously, and that and even though that I understand that, I still want to be able. Okay, and then there's this one teacher. I can't think of his name at this moment, but he's quantum leaping is what he teaches, and he talks about that there's different aspects of yourself, your higher self out there, where you can go to that realm or that dimension and find out how yourself is that successful in that dimension and bring it back to this present physical existence and advance yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we're talking about learning instruments or learning a second language, and all of it would be coming second nature. It wouldn't be as hard to do. So
Absolutely. That sounds fascinating.
have you heard of something like that, and do you have any other thoughts on dimensions?
Oh, yes. There's actually a book that I have been reading called The Alchemy of Nine Dimensions. I can't remember the author's first name, but her last name is Handclough. And she also does, I believe, the Mayan Code.
Oh.
And that author, if you can Google or Amazon Alchemy of Nine Dimensions,
Okay.
that book is, I have to say, it's off the chain.
Right.
It is
Okay, so
incredible.
Alchemy of Nine Dimensions.
Mhm.
It sounds, this could be the very reason I'm on this line right now,
There you
because
go,
this
yeah.
is something
Right.
that I was seeking out. So thank you. I will look that up, Alchemy of Nine Dimensions.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that is a book that I have this mom that collects books, and she had 2 copies, and so I'm like, hey mom, I'm taking this one. This looks really, really intriguing. And I got into
Right.
it, and I tell you what, the information in the book is, there are no words for it. It is that incredible. And I'm sure that once you can get a hold of it and you start to read it yourself, you can call me back and say, girl, I know what you mean.
And I will. I'll visit you back on a Monday between 5 and
Wonderful.
6 and tell you how off the chain I also think it is.
There
So
it
I
is.
am going to look into that.
Most definitely. And I do hope that you say you live in Bradenton, correct?
I live in Brandon.
Brandon,
Mhm.
which is the next door
Mhm.
neighbor to Bradenton, right?
No, Brandon's
Brandon's
above
next
Tampa.
to Tampa.
Really?
So
Yeah.
Tampa's up here.
Mhm.
Bradenton's down in Sarasota.
See, I've only been back to this area for the past 7-8 months, so I'm confused. I'm thinking
Okay, and
B&B.
your name is
I go by Momma J, but my name is
do.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it has really been a pleasure to
likewise.
sit in and
Mm-hmm.
be a part of your show tonight, and I am going to visit you back. I'm going to check this book out because I'm starting to think that's the number one reason I'm here. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank
And I'll be looking
you.
forward to hearing
Thank
back
you.
from you, or even we can connect and you can be a guest as well sometime.
Okay, this sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
care.
Good
Many
night.
blessings. Bye.
How about that?
Wow.
Right?
How about
This-
that?
That was freaking phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
This
crazy.
I am. Hey, my shows are improving. Oh, we're getting the 2-ringer. Okay.
Yep.
So real quick, I am going to throw some things out there for people to consider. 10 emotions of power.
Mm.
10. I'm going from 10 to 1. Contribution. 9. Vitality. 8. Cheerfulness. 7. Confidence. 6. Flexibility. 5. Determination. 4. Excitement and passion. 3. Curiosity. 2. Appreciation and gratitude.
Mm.
And number 1, love and warmth.
Mhm.
So that should get the juices flowing.
And those were the 10
emotions of power.
10 emotions of power. I think
Mhm.
that's very apropos for today's
Yeah.
conversation, truly.
Yes. My little quote, life is a canvas waiting to have colors and details added.
Sounds perfect to
precious.
me. I mean, I think I'd have to agree.
We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make our world. That's Buddha, baby.
Right.
And then the 10 emotions of power, I got that from AR.
Hey, doesn't matter where the information
Or
comes
TR, depends. If anybody can figure that out, y'all call me next Monday and let me know if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, I want to thank you all for watching and listening. Thank you, Sarah, once again for calling in on Momma J Speaks show. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you again, or actually having you sit next to me. And I do hope that information I shared with you is going to lead you to your next destination in your life and journey. I want to thank both you, Laura, and you, Ryan, for
thank
being.
Yes.
The pleasure's ours.
Absolutely.
I'm
All
so
three of us,
excited
yeah.
that I had 2 for 1, and this has been so fantastic. And I did not use awesome the entire time. I was using other
Except for then.
words. Exactly.
There
But
it is.
thank you all for watching. We'll
Au
be
revoir.
looking forward to you Monday. I will have a new guest. His name is going to be Steve McAllister from Urban Spiral Dream Company. He has been a gentleman that has been able to live his life without the use of money.
Wow.
And it's been
That's beautiful.
really
from what I've been understanding, this is the rumor. And he has been living his life like a regular, person. He's not a bum or anything like that. But he's been using bartering, the contribution,
Right.
Commonwealth Time Bank, which is
Right.
bartering and whatnot. And so I'm looking forward to either having him as a calling guest next Monday or a physical guest, and learn from him something that he can share with all of us. So you all have a great evening, and we'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.